Hello, this is Jer. I'm playing Oxygen Not Included. This is my Moonlet playthrough, and I just finished the Carnivore achievement. So glad that it's out of the way. So now I can focus on other things. The priority is getting more metal ore. I'm very short on that. So in my rocket here, I'm having 1,000 kilograms of copper ore be put in this. So what I want to do is build a ration box. But when they're up in space, I want to destroy that ration box and convert it into a manual generator. Not enough space for both those things, so I just want to make sure I've got enough metal by the time that they're in space to be able to do that. But I'm probably going to have to mine some in the other world and have it brought over by teleportation in order to complete that. Alright, so they've done their first shipment of, actually a little bit more copper ore than I thought, but still they're probably going to have to get more in the other world to get the amount that I want it to satisfy a first travel mission to another planetoid. So I'm still operating the lullaby, or the incubator, applying the lullaby effect and hunting or attacking some critters as I need food. I'm going to slow down the incubation as time goes on, but I don't want to abruptly stop because I don't want to be in a situation where I'm caught off guard and don't have any food for my dupes because there's not enough critters. They're all in egg form. So in this world, I think the top priority is to dig out some algae because I've been sending it to my other world, and the dupe that's here doesn't have enough ability to supply new oxygen for themselves, so I'll do that. For the second cycle after getting the Carnivore achievement, I realized that I'm almost got 2 full tanks of polluted water out of the washroom and showers, and I don't want those to back up. Now, I already have a system for dealing with polluted water. So this system over here treats the polluted water, removes the food poisoning, just gives you regular polluted water. So I actually want to input that to that system. So what I'm going to do is have the pipe go from the liquid reservoir that's storing the polluted water and have it sent over here. And I want to send it in a priority such that it takes water from the washroom first before it takes water from the geyser. That's because I can store excess water in the geyser, but I can only store so much water or polluted water in the after the washroom before that gets backed up. So I'm putting this system together such that the polluted water is going to go in priority order from the washroom, and then only take it from the geyser if there's no more polluted water in the washroom. So for the rest of cycle 99, I'm just watching Engineer over on this planetoid dig out some metal, because this is a limiting factor of going any further, really, and I want to send another dupe over here to help them once the teleportation recharges. It is the turn of the century, so easy achievement to get. Simply get to cycle 100 and you get turn of the century achievement. Nothing too exciting happening here, really just waiting for the engineer dupe in the other world to mine some. Oh, game crash, lovely. I'll have to do this again. I will just have to wait for engineer to do some digging of metal ore and bring that copper ore back to this world, so I can start to do some material research and send my rocket off to explore a new world. In cycle 101, I decide to get rid of the stone hatches that are in my stable with the smooth hatches. Now that I've got smooth hatches, really I don't need these stone hatches. All the stone hatches were good for is producing a few smooth hatch eggs. Now that I've got several, they're really just being wasteful. They're consuming metal ore and they're outputting coal, while the smooth hatches consume metal ore and output refined metal. Much better deal in my opinion. So they've got to go, and eventually the two smooth hatches there, they'll just continue laying more smooth hatch eggs. Now I also realized an infinite loop. Meat, I just killed those stone hatches, and I'm noticing meat is going on in an infinite cycle because it's being dropped from one conveyor loader over next to the pip stable, but that's within reach of one of those. But I don't have engineer here, so I'm just going to wait for the system to tire itself to one of my dupes finally grabs it and put it in the electric grill. And when engineer is back, they'll deal with that. For the rest of the cycle, I'm just having, oh, engineer. Speaking of which, it was trapped. That's just terrible. All right, so they're going to clean up their mess and hopefully be able to get back to digging out refined or metal ore. In addition to digging out some of that metal ore, I might as well get access to some of the free food and wild plants that are in this area, as well as the oxalite rather. So in cycle 102, I decide that I'm going to start the process of building a polluted water to oxygen system. And the one thing that's nice about this is it's going to produce a lot of clay, which ultimately can be turned into ceramic. The issue is, as always, in order to build this system, as well as many other systems, I need metal ore. And I did have at least one circuit overloaded for a period of time, which was so annoying. I don't know if that's where I lost most of my metal, or it's just the fact that the Moonlet series just has a lot less resources. Anyway, just as I was saying before, I'm pretty much limited with just about everything I want to do until Engineer gets some more copper ore back in the world. And I'm also really hoping the teleporter is going to be recharged so I can send another dupe over there to help them out. Finally, the teleporter has recharged, and I'm going to identify one of the dupes that has the proper skills or skill points necessary to do digging. That's going to be Artist, and I'm going to send them over to the world, or the other world with the Engineer, to dig out copper ore so I can finally bring back some to this world and actually make progress on the rest of the ideas that I have for this base. So on cycle 104, I decide I'm going to put temporarily a higher priority on the conveyor loader. So my dupes, instead of doing some of the other tasks, they start to put some copper ore into the other world. So there you can see it being dumped. So now I can start to progress on some of my tasks. Top of the list is the material research station. So I'm putting a power control here, shut off, to be able to turn off power on anything on the right side of this. So if I want to stop operating the Radbolt Generator and radiation lamp, I can do that. I'm also going to put a door on the left side to prevent dupes going into that area when the Radbolt Generator is operating. So I just need to make sure that I've got a heavy watch joint plate underneath this door, and then I'll be able to put that piece together. Very quickly, just going over to the other aspect of what I'm doing all the time, applying the lullaby effect, looking for a few critters to turn to meat, and search for any smooth hatches to bring into my stable. So I'm going to put this through a NOT gate here, basically saying if the power is on, then close the door. That's why I've got a NOT gate there. And I've got logic on the other side. So it works this way. I'm going to have an OR gate around the two dupe sensors. I'm then going to have a second OR gate, and that's going to be the output of those two dupe sensors, and that's going to be combined with the output of the material research station. It's basically saying this: if a dupe is in the area or the material research station is full, then activate the last Radbolt reflector, and that Radbolt reflector is going to act as an infinite loop. It's kind of put backwards compared to the other ones. So if that Radbolt reflector is not active, that means that Radbolts are going to be shot into the material research station. If it is active, it's going to carry an infinite loop, so that it's not wasted if the machine's full, and there's no chance of damaging my dupes with the dupe sensor. So that's what all that is about. This is going to be a very exciting cycle. I get the Radbolt Generator turned on for the first time and supplying Radbolts in the material research station. So I can now do some material research for the very first time in this playthrough, which I was hoping to be much earlier, but that's all right. So I've got all that logic in place to determine when it's on. Now I'm going to throw the switch. That switch is going to close the door, preventing the dupes going in this area, and get the Radbolt Generator to start charging. Now this takes a while, but and I don't want my dupes to be able to go in there and be hit by that thing, but I do want them to have access to the radiation lamp. So just digging out a path so that they can refill that without necessarily getting in line of the Radbolt path, because they take damage if they get hit by those. Now I'm just waiting for some Radbolts to charge up to be thrown in that machine. I decide I'm going to move the advanced research station. I'm not going to need the microtuber to make mush anymore, so I'm completely getting rid of that, and that's where I'm going to put the advanced research station. But I want to put that next to a pool of water with a pitcher pump. So I'm going to actually push water into this area here with the pitcher pump. So whenever my dupes fill water for the research station, they're not going to have to go very far away, just optimizing the amount of travel that they need to do. After attending to some eggs, I decide to go look what's going on with the Radbolt Generator material research station. Notice there's a problem that the Radbolt reflector doesn't actually have automation attached to it. So it's going to be enabled by default, meaning that any Radbolts that go through it or pass it are going to stay in that infinite loop. I need to disable that in order to let that Radbolt. I'm going to do research on a solar panel. Normally I do the glass forge first, but I already have 200 units of glass, so I can actually build a solar panel to help with the power situation if I do that first. Otherwise, it definitely would have been the glass forge that I had researched first. In this cycle, I'm going to start off going to the other world. I've got 2 dupes over here. They're still mining some material, but I have them at high priority of dumping copper ore. I no longer need that to be set high priority. Also concerned about food for the 2 dupes. Generally, you need about 5 mealwoods for each dupe to exist, and I don't even have 5, so I'm going to correct that. Next thing I'm going to do is bring in pipes to the pitcher pump that is next to the research station, because now that that's been sealed off, it's set in such a way that water that's going to be dumped there won't overflow, but it will provide water to the pitcher pump when those pipes are in place. With the rest of the time, I'm going to work on the polluted water to oxygen system. Now this is going to have 2 pumps at the top, and I don't want this system to be activated until the solar panels are built, because it's going to consume a bit of power. So each pump takes 240, so that's almost 50 watts, plus the little bit that's going to come from the deodorizers. So how it works is I'm going to pump in polluted water at the bottom. I'm going to destroy those liquid reservoirs, and the bottle polluted water that is going to be left is going to emit polluted oxygen. The deodorizers are going to clean it, and because I have a pump at the top, that's going to make it rise towards those pumps, passing those deodorizers, such that by the time they get to the pump, it's clean oxygen. Start off this cycle looking at my progress towards research, and more than halfway, 14 out of 20. So this thing is moving along. I'll be able to build my first solar panel within a short period of time. But the rest of the day, or cycle, I'm going to continue working on the polluted water to oxygen system, because ultimately that's going to create some clay, which I can convert to ceramic, which is one of the materials that I'll want to have access to in the next little bit. So I'm just building 2 pumps at the top, and then above that is going to be a gas reservoir. And that's going to tell the pumps to turn off when it gets too full, say 50% or so. And it's going to do a filtering system to filter out anything except for oxygen in a cheaper way than building a standard filter. So I'll explain more about that once we get to that point. But I've noticed research for solar panels is complete. So let's go to the top and build our first solar panel. So we're getting free energy when we do this. A little bit of automation I used to have for the teleport, so I'm going to get rid of that, because I ultimately want to put some solar panels there. But I'll just put the solar panel on the left side of the ladder instead. And it's completely fine to have that underneath the rocket. Now, I can only build 1 solar panel, so I'm going to do research on a glass forge to build more glass. I only have enough glass for the 1, and I want a full solar array to take advantage of as much power as I can possibly get that is coming from the sun. Well, I'm assuming it's a sun in this game, but some light source in the heavens. Alright, so I also want to put in automation in the polluted water to oxygen system, because I need these little deodorizers filled. And I'm going to put bins next to them with that's going to store filtration medium sand. So with that automation, first of all, my dupes don't have to manually go in there and fill sand when they empty. Also, they're not going to be in a situation where they are not able to convert polluted oxygen to regular oxygen because they're not filled. All right, so a material research station has been built. Radbolt Generator next to it, and I've filled it with Radbolt such that I was able to do some research on a solar panel and build the actual first solar panel on top of my base, generating power in a different method than the manual generator and the little bit of hydrogen I get from the electrolyzer. So that is a really good thing. I'll also mention up to this point, over 100 cycles or so of manual generator and a little bit of hydrogen, I have managed to get 10% of progress towards the super sustainable achievement. So a long way to go. But the more power that you generate, the quicker you get that done. And solar panels are definitely going to help me along with that. So that's it for this episode. If you like these videos, like this video, subscribe, and hopefully see you in a future episode where I continue on, perhaps finishing my polluted water to oxygen system and some other things.